Good morning, good day. Probably like 10 something. We started the day at 3:30. We've been doing that a lot lately. I don't mind it. I start to mind it around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but 10 o'clock in the morning it's all right. So yeah, we did a couple of grocery store distribution warehouse deliveries. I think mostly mayonnaise, I think it was. After that, we took a load of shelving out to a new roofing warehouse in the Campbell Industrial area. Brand new warehouse, brand new business. Roofing is one of those businesses that almost can't fail. They always seem to do very well. It's hard work though. And they're putting their business inside a warehouse. Maybe it's a different type of roofing material. Because most roofing companies I know have big laydown yards. So we dropped off that racking for the shelves inside the new warehouse, and then we went over to a security fence company and picked up a full 40-foot flat rack full of fence material that was being shipped over to the Big Island of Hawaii, Kona region. We dropped that inside the inter-island shipping terminal we just came out of. And dispatch said, go ahead and hook up to this full 20-foot container that's got household goods, somebody moving from one island to the next. Bring it back to the yard and give the container to another driver who's going to go ahead and deliver it, and then I can shut it down for the day. 30, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Almost an 8-hour day. But the reason we're shutting down early is because my truck is developing an air leak in one of the airbags. And it's not too bad when you have light loads, but when you have heavy loads, you can really hear the air bleed out. As long as the engine's running though, it keeps up, but it has to be changed. So by shutting down early, it gives the mechanics a chance to do that, because that's a pretty easy job. It's just a couple of bolts and an air line. Pretty simple. You just gotta get the axle to hang. There's different ways of doing that. So if we give them enough time, we'll probably have the truck running by Monday when we come back from the weekend. So that's the plan. Basically, this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th movement of the day. Making our way down Nimitz Highway, headed back to our terminal. From the inter-island shipping terminal to our terminal is just a mile along Nimitz Highway, which is the main road that runs around the harbor. So it gets a lot of commercial traffic from the harbor, as you can see. It also is one of the more direct routes from the airport into the hotels in Waikiki, so it gets a lot of tour buses and rent-a-cars. And all in all, it's one of the busier roads on the island. Basically light to light, bumper to bumper all day long. But it moves. It's a major artery though. So you don't get anywhere fast on Venice Highway, but you eventually get there. So all in all, a pretty good day for Friday. It's Aloha Friday. I got a question on the channel. I read it last night. When I retire, do I plan to repost any of my older trucking videos? Because I've been making these videos for 10 years. And only about 2 years worth is up. I've taken everything else down because, you know, I was making 200 videos a year for 10 years. It's a lot of videos. And the reason I've taken a lot of it down is just because the quality was just, you know, horrible. I started off with this cheap digital camera that belonged to my wife and had no stabilization. I didn't have any way of mounting it in the cab, but the sound was pretty good on it. And so that's how I started out, and I probably did the first three months with that. Still have that camera. My wife still uses that camera. It's her favorite camera. It's just the only one she knows how to operate. But it's a 12, 13-year-old camera. And in the digital age, that's ancient, you know. Then I got this little Sure Shot Canon, and I made videos with that for probably over a year. And stabilization was better, but the sound wasn't as good as the Panasonic, the Luminous that we were using. I think it's Luminous. So the sound quality wasn't as good as the little camera my wife had. And so I finally got the first GoPro, and the first GoPro had great stability. It really increased the wide angle, which is what I like the most. But the sound was horrendous. Oh my goodness. And I did all the things that you go on YouTube and they tell you, drill holes here, here, and here, and the sound won't be quite as bad still. And so I used that for over a year, probably 2 years. And then I was on vacation, and I took the GoPro into the water because it's supposed to be waterproof, but I didn't have the waterproof backing on it. So I flooded the camera, and I still have the camera because it still works today. I put it in a bag of rice and it dried out and it still works. But then I got my GoPro 7 or so. Stability got a lot better, sound got a little bit better, not a whole lot better. And I used that for almost 2 or 3 years. And just recently I upgraded to this camera, which is a GoPro 10. Or maybe it's 11. GoPro 11. And I find the sound quality is way, way better. The stabilization is much better. The wide angle is good, and you know, the pixels are good. And so the quality of this is a bit better. I'm looking for the driver who's supposed to be taking this over. Maybe he went to lunch. There's his truck. There he is. I'll put him right here then. Okay. That's my new truck, which they assigned to me, and I drove it for 8 months. I just didn't like the new truck. super comfortable, but man, you work much harder in that truck. So he's a newer driver, but he's got good work ethic. And I told him, hey, if you want to drive that truck, go ahead. I'll take over this older truck. I like them a lot better. They don't make you work as much. Big trucks are nice, but in the environment that we work in, a small truck just makes the job so much easier. And I'm all about, I want the truck to lift up the can when I go underneath it, so I don't have to crank down a container that's got all the weight on it. I want a truck that small enough so that when you get into tight areas, you don't have to do any magic tricks or anything to make it work, make it happen. And that's what this truck has. It's a small truck, and it lifts up the cans when you go underneath it most of the time. What I don't like about this truck is it's like 310 horses. That truck, the new truck, has 450. See, it won't lift up the can, so he's got to drag it now. Now you got a crank on it. And that's the case with that truck. You'll be cranking almost every can you go underneath all day long. Going to be down. The truck is going to be too low to lift it up. So now you got to crank the landing gear to hold the weight. Not fun. So let's get this unhooked. I had somebody ask me once, when you guys park these containers so close together, how do you get the landing gear up or down? I call it landing gear calisthenics. It looks a little bit like this. So you hear that air leak from the airbag? It's that forward airbag on the right there. It's coming out from right in the middle. So on that airbag, it's leaking right in the middle inside there. This whole area is rusted out. I'll show you on this one here. It's kind of rusty like this. It's leaking right in the center. And these are you just take the two bolts off on either side, and then there's that air line. Unpop that, and that's it. Comes right out. There might be I think that's all there is to it. There might be one more bolt that I'm not aware of. Oh, I forgot the air lines. shut it down for the day. We're gonna head on home. We got a lot of leftovers, beans, soup, salads, and probably just make me some soup and maybe a salad. That's all I feel like for dinner. We actually have a Christmas party to go to tonight at 6 o'clock, so just gotta rest up before that. That's it for this day. Thanks for watching. Aloha.